Good morning, settle down. My name is Officer Simpson. You can call me Officer Simpson. I will be teaching your class today on the new Photoshop sky replacement update that actually makes this really easy. Anyone can do it. I remember in my day, back on the streets, before all these fancy tools, we had to replace skies in the field with our own two hands. We had to reach up, we had to grab it, and we had to replace it. None of this fancy technological stuff that you guys have it. You guys got it easy. With that, a couple of rules. No questions until the end because I'll probably answer it throughout this entire class, so I don't want any silly questions that I have to go over twice. Second, no chitty chatting. This will be a silent class. Just pay attention to me. And hey, you, none of that. No laughing is allowed, not even giggling or sniggering. None of it. I want a silent class. All right, now, let's get started. Happy Halloween, you guys. Will Simpson here, and welcome to Exploring Photography. Today I'm going to show you a quick little tutorial on how to do the amazing new feature in Photoshop for sky replacements. It makes it so much easier, literally one click of the button, and you get amazing skies. So let's jump into Photoshop and get started. Firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our layer in the bottom right is selected. This will not work if you have a curves adjustment selected. For example, let's have this selected. Go up to edit and you'll notice that the sky replacement option is not available to be clicked. So what we're going to do is make sure that we have our actual picture selected, and we're going to click edit. We're going to scroll down to sky replacement, and that's going to bring up this little box here with some actual skies in it. Now, if you don't see these skies, simply go to the little arrow here, click that. For example, what I'll do is I'll delete all of these so you can see. If I delete all of this, delete, done. Now I have no skies. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up to the little settings box, go to Append Default Skies, and there you go, there's your skies. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and select sunsets. We're gonna scroll down to find one that we like. The great part about this is you can select them and sample them and see what they look like. And look at that, seamless integration into your photo. And it even handles the trees here on the bottom. It is so easy to do. So I don't really like that one. It just seems too dark. It works, it actually looks pretty good, but we're gonna try something a little different. I think I actually like that one, but it does seem a little dark for the scene. However, we can adjust that. So once you find the sky that you like, simply click away back onto the other screen. Now, if you want to add a sky that you already have, you just press the arrow, go to the plus sign, and then just scroll around until you find your skies, and you can add any skies that you yourself have. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna use this one of the default skies, and then we can make adjustments. The first adjustment is the shift edge adjustment. This brings the sky up or down. For example, if we go all the way to the left, it'll bring the sky up. If we go all the way to the right, it'll bring the sky down. And you see how it kind of doesn't look great in the trees at this point. It's too much. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna find a medium. Generally the Photoshop program does it really well. Like I like this here. It looks good if you zoom in. It looks extremely good, clean, and no issues. So I'm gonna leave it right where it was. The next feature is the fade edge slider. Now I'm gonna zoom in a little so you can see this a little better. I'm using a Mac, so Command and the plus sign, and then I'm gonna slide over here. So the fade edge tool is simply that. It kind of blends it with the edges, and it's really easy to see like around the trees and stuff. So if we go full to the left, you'll notice that it's much darker around the edges. And if you go full to the left, it gets much lighter. So it's just a matter of playing with it and tweaking with it and seeing what you yourself find works the best. If you notice the little halo here in the bottom left corner at the tree line, I don't really like that, so I'm just going to go a little darker until it just kind of blends a little more. The next is the brightness of the sky. You go full left, you get really dark. You go full right, you get really bright. So this allows you to match the sky with the foreground. I wanted to brighten it up just a little bit, and that looks good. The next is the temperature. Again, this is super easy. It's your white balance for temperature, warm or cool. So that actually looks really good, a little bit warmer. So we're just gonna warm that up a shade, and I think that looks good. Next is scale. This is the size, so bigger, smaller. So if you go full right, you get huge sky like this. This is really zoomed in. We don't like that. So I'm gonna press Command Z and undo that. And if you notice on the edges here, you see on the edges, the sky is not there. So we're going to up the scale a little bit until we find that it fits the image. I think that looks really good. All right, we're getting there now. The next is flip. This is very self-explanatory. it flips it. So it does flip it horizontally, so if the sun is on the left and the actual sun is on the right, you can change it to work. On this one, I think we're just gonna leave it as is because it looks good. Next is the foreground adjustments. Now you can set the lighting mode to multiply or screen. So you can see what it looks like, screen, not as good. Multiply blends in with the darks, so that looks really good. I always recommend using multiply when doing sky replacements. It just seems to work better. Next is the lighting adjustment, and this is how light the middle of the blend is, like at the horizon. So if I go full left, it brightens up the trees. If I go full right, it darkens the trees. So you just kind of have to blend it so it looks good. I think, let's say, right about 65 looks good for me. The next is the color adjustment of the foreground. Now this takes the sky color and blends it with the foreground color. So you kind of have to play with it, but this is a really good and easy way to blend the colors. So if I go full left, what you're gonna do is take it completely out of the foreground. If I go full right, you add the color of the sky to the foreground. Now I like this. This still seems a little bright, but we can adjust that in post. So I'm going to go, actually I'm gonna go pretty dark. Yep, there we go. So pretty dark. So this looks good. So if we preview it, before, after, before, after. It's not bad, but it does need some more touch-ups in post. But again, this is just the sky replacement tutorial, so that's how to replace the sky. It will output them all to new layers, which is what you want. So press OK when you're done. And then you see all your little layers here. Don't mind this curves one here, which is in a group. So you can shrink it down and you can turn it completely off and on. And then you can actually mess with each layer. So this is the sky brightness, how bright the sky is. This is the sky temperature, the temperature of the sky, either cool or warm. This is the sky itself, you can take it out. This is the foreground lighting, you can adjust that. This is the foreground color, you can adjust that. So you can adjust these once you've done them. It's super simple. And then once you've done all of this, you can blend it all together. If you click up on the sky replacement group and press Shift, Command, Option E, this is a Mac, it'll create a brand new layer that you can then adjust with the sky. All right, so let's go on to the next one. And this one has a big tree here, and you can see lots, lots of leaves. Now this would be a pain in the butt with normal sky replacements, masking it all and making sure you get it all good. So with this new technique, it's so much easier. So select your background layer, go to Edit, go to Sky Replacement, and boom, default sky, there you go. And look at this. Oh my gosh, look at that. All in the leaves, so easy, so smooth. I mean, that one click of the button. Now I don't particularly like this sky. It doesn't fit at all with this foreground, but I just wanted to see how seamless you can do it and how quick and easy it is. So let's go ahead and find a sky that we like. And again, all we have to do is click through them. That doesn't look good. How about this one? Okay, so I really like this sky because it matches the tree curve. I mean, that just fit perfectly. So we're gonna use that sky, and then we just have to blend it a little bit. So let's check out the shift edges. So that doesn't look good. You see how it blends the tree and disappears the tree? That's no good at all. If we go the other way, then we get this halo, and that's no good. So it did actually a really good job. We're gonna leave it there. On the faded edge, you can see at the bottom, it kind of blended it here over in the background. Yeah, you see how the sky is overlaying there? But if we go to the right, not as bad. So we're going to leave it, I think we're gonna go to about 76. That looks good. Brightness, let's see. No, too bright, too dark. I think we'll do a little bit brighter, but not too much. The next is the temperature. Now this is a cooler image. So do we wanna make it cool? No, way too blue. Do we wanna make it warmer? Way too warm. So I think we're just gonna keep it default, and we're just gonna do a 0. Because again, once you've done all these edits, you can then edit them in post to match them more. The next is the scale. It seems to fit perfectly around the edges. I like that, and I like this little circle around the tree, so I don't want to mess with that. The next part is the lighting of the foreground. Now let's see, brighter, darker. Nah, that doesn't look good. I think we'll just go darker. Good, there we go. And the color adjustment. I want the color to match, so I'm gonna pull this all the way to 100 and get it good. And there we go. Before, after. Super quick, super easy. Now what I would do is after all this, I would go in and edit the photo as a whole, edit the foreground, kind of blend the modes. I could go into the background here. I could go up to camera raw filter, and you can tell it definitely needs some magenta in it. So we're gonna crank that in a little bit. Add that, we'll cool it down a little. Then we'll take out the highlights, we'll up the shadows, we can brighten it up a little, just a shade, add some contrast. Nothing too much. Again, we can do a lot of this later on. And I think that'll be good. We'll press OK. And boom, I think that looks better. Let's see. Yeah, that blends a little bit more and you get more of the color. And that's all there is to it. It is a simple and super easy way to change skies in Photoshop. This update makes them so fast and so good. It's incredible. Like these days, everyone can change skies and you won't even know. But there is a technique in blending skies that is the hardest part. So if this video helped you out, go ahead and give it a like. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. I do videos like this every Monday at 7 p.m. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Also, there's a link in the description that signs you up for emails, which I send additional tips, tricks, how-tos. You'll automatically be signed up for giveaways that I do through there. And it's just an easy way for you to ask questions and stay in touch. And that's it for this video. So I hope you guys learned something. Happy Halloween, and I'll see you guys next Monday. Are you feeling lucky, punk? Didn't think so.